Councilmember Matthew Eugene, Chair of the Committee on Civil and Human Rights, hears testimony to recognize January 27th as Holocaust Remembrance Day in New York City.
My name is Matthew Eugene, and I'm the Chair of the Civil and Human Rights Committee. Today, our committee will be hearing testimony and then voting on my colleagues, Councilmember Dodge's resolutions, proposed resolution number 673B, recognizing January 27, 2019 as Holocaust Remembrance Day, and the week beginning on January 27, 2019 as a citywide week of Holocaust education in New York City. On November 1st, 2005, the United Nations General Assembly adopted a resolution to designate January 27 as International Day of Commemoration and Memory of the Victims of Holocaust. This day represents the day that Auschwitz-Birkenau, one of the largest of the 40 concentration camps that comprise the Auschwitz complex, was finally liberated. By assigning an International Day of Remembrance, the United Nations aims to reaffirm that Holocaust, which resulted in the murder of 1/3 of the Jewish people, along with countless members of other minorities, will forever be a warning to all people of the dangers of hatred, bigotry, racism, and prejudice. The genocide of 6 million Jews at the hand of Nazi soldiers, as well as the Nazi killing crusade that resulted in the death of thousands of homosexual and Jehovah's Witnesses, hundreds of thousands of people with disabilities, Gypsy heritage, and Serbian civilians, and millions of non-Jewish Polish and Soviet civilians and prisoners of war, remain one of the most inhumane periods of the modern history. Although there were millions of victims of Nazism who were not Jewish, anti-Semitism formed the base of Nazi ideology that climaxed with the Holocaust. This brutal killing spree was referred to as the final solution of the Jewish question in Europe, and its objective was total Jewish ethnic cleansing. In spite of clear evidence of Nazi forced labor camp, prison and death camp, of which there were nearly 40,000 across Germany and its occupied territories, there are still people who are ignorant and would fully deny the fact of the Holocaust. For example, a recent survey conducted by the Conference on Jewish Material Claim Against Germany found that 41% of surveyed Americans were unaware of the Auschwitz death camp. The survey also found that 41% of millennials believe that the Holocaust resulted in the death of less than 2 million Jews, when the figure is more than 6 million, and 22% of millennials surveyed reported that they had not even heard about the Holocaust. These findings are shocking, considering the enormous devastation caused by the Holocaust. However, more shocking are those that choose to deny or downplay the genocide. According to the Southern Poverty Law Center, Holocaust deniers, who sometimes refer to themselves as historical revisionists, deny the effect of the Holocaust in a number of ways. Some deny the existence of death camps and gas chambers, while others say that the casualties were caused by disease, poverty, or general war, rather than a targeted anti-Semitic Nazi assault. This group rely on anti-Semitic stereotypes and hatred, which mirror the attitudes that led the groundwork for the Holocaust. In today's climate, it is more important than ever to put these views to rest. Since the 2016 federal election, we have witnessed an increase in anti-Semitic rhetoric and hate crime against Jewish populations. Even in New York, have also been going up. 60 years later, the Holocaust remains one of the worst examples of where hate-driving ideology can lead. However, as the statistics one mentioned illustrate, education to provide people with facts about the Holocaust are still clearly needed. The Holocaust serves as a warning of what can happen when we let hate-fueled ideas flourish unchecked. So the timing of this resolution could not be more relevant. And I want to commend my colleague, Councilmember Dodge, for introducing this very important resolution, and I strongly encourage the members of the committee to vote yes on passing Resolution 673B.
When I was 13 years old, we were taking my family and I to Auschwitz. I lost my father only 2 years earlier. They took him to a work camp, he never returned. He would later find out that he was murdered by the Ukrainian people for no other reason than being Jewish. At the age of 14, I was, thank God, liberated. But before I was liberated, I was taken to a second camp and then to a third camp. I was liberated the last day of the war. And I was on my own at the age of 14. And I knew exactly what I have to do, how to behave, where to go. And thank God I succeeded. Today I am a mother, grandmother, great-grandmother, a lot of kids. And thank God they're all useful and good citizens of the United States. The only fright that stayed with me, mainly it shouldn't reoccur again. And I'm not just saying it today, I said it the moment I entered this country. I'm afraid of it. I'm afraid of it. Because it could happen in a second. We're going to be quiet about one instant happening, anti-Semitism it flares up in a moment.
Good afternoon. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you, Councilman Member Chaim Deutsch, for your crucial and very important initiative. Let me introduce myself. I was about 7 years old when the Eichmann trial began in Jerusalem, Israel. One day, during the course of the trial, I heard a knock on the door. There stood Leon. Leon was a man we considered our uncle, as during the Holocaust, Leon had spent 8 months with my mother in a bunker in Warsaw, the capital of Poland, at that time almost entirely reduced to rubble by the Nazis. Leon was a man I knew as a pillar of strength, always smiling, always had a candy for me. But now he stood, all shaken, at the verge of tears. The moment my parents saw him, they took him into the dining room and locked the door. A few moments later, I heard Peter sobbing. It was Leon. As a little girl, I couldn't understand why he was crying. As an adult, I learned slowly and painfully all about the Holocaust. And then I understood that my parents, both of them survivors, whom I loved so dearly, and their friends whom I respected, so much and emerge alive but deeply scarred from a unique form of hell.
More importantly, a full week of Holocaust education would squarely fall in line with the ADL's mission and values of stopping the defamation of the Jewish people and securing justice and fair treatment for all, particularly those of inclusion and respect, in the hopes that eventually all citizens in our city and country will establish relationships held by the fabric of those values without labels to separate them. You know, as the numbers I know were mentioned in some of your opening remarks by the Claims Conference, studies that have been done, I think it's shocking that 31% of Americans believe, based on polling, that only 2 million or less died in the Holocaust. 66% don't know that what Auschwitz is, and 22% of millennials had never heard of the Holocaust. Clearly, there's a need for education. The education that the ADL has had a long history providing this kind of Holocaust education to schools across the country, especially here in New York.
And I want to take the opportunity also to commend and advocate and my colleagues also, all of you for your courage and your resilience, and for willing to come to share with us your experience and your suffering as people. And again, I want you to know that we in New York City, we stand with you. We have been there with you, and we will continue to stand with the Jewish community, because no people should go through what you have been through before, during the Holocaust. Thank you very much.